What do you do when you have two Class A RVs, a single lane bridge with a weight limit of 14 tons?
You back up. That's what you do.
So as you know, we left the alpaca farm to come a little bit further north in Maine to actually visit family friends of Phil's. Only we've run into a bit of a problem.
Yeah, we've run into a huge problem. So as you can see behind us, there's a small bridge on this muddy dirt road. And it's not a very long bridge, but the weight limit is 12 tons. Doing fuzzy math, that says 24,000 pounds. I am closer to 27, maybe 28,000 pounds. I'm not trying to risk the biscuit here.
All right, and you guys do realize that we still have our friends with us, Al and Angie. They are following us, and they followed us right to the bridge. So not only do we have to unhook and turn around, but they will have to unhook and turn around. We finally are in a predicament.
We are. But I'm not, you know what? It's part of the journey, and we'll stay calm, and we'll make the best of it, and we'll fix it.
And have a drink on the other side.
That's right. That's right.
So we got to back up for a while then.
No, right here.
Back in here.
I'm doing this.
Oh, you're going to back the rig in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just walked over there.
The only mud is that.
Yeah.
And then that's all hard.
Pretty hard?
Yeah,
okay.
that's hard.
It's just got to watch the two posts, is all.
Okay. Is Ange going to be able to guide you in?
Yeah.
All right, we both have taken the cars off, and Al and Angie have started to back up. So let's see if we can get turned around.
Is there a ditch on this side?
You're turning too soon. I think you're turning too soon. You're coming through there.
Yeah, no, but I need to get.
No.
I have to if I'm going to be able to make that
Oh.
turn.
I don't think there's a ditch there. Or there might be.
Oh, shit.
I don't think so.
I don't know how far in.
Well, right here. Right here. Where it starts to go down. Right where your wheel is, I think you're going to make it.
I don't know. Are we good on the other side?
I'm so glad I showered today. I didn't know you guys were bringing condoms. I thought, hey.
So what happens if I just come back on this line?
Am I going to be able to get anywhere with it? You're good up front, I think. You're real good. That's far as I got, man. Stop. Right, come forward. Step plenty up here.
That's kind of break.
Hey, you're far enough. I feel the way back. I'll watch the front. Right? Yeah. I'm with him. Come this way. Towards me.
I've reversed it many times. Why don't you just reverse back up the road? It's only a quarter of a mile.
Three. Okay. You can come back out.
All right, change of plans. He's just going to back up and go all the way down the road to the end of the road. So we were worried about doing, a 50-point turn right there and him getting stuck in the mud. It did rain all day today, so. All right, this is Tony. That was the person we were going to visit. He is going to drive down and get in front of the guys and basically escort them out as they reverse down the road. It's about a quarter mile to go down the road. So he is going to stop traffic, basically, and help them get to the other side.
What had happened was we were going to visit family friends, like you saw in the beginning, and they just didn't have the grasp of how big our RVs were. And when we got to the bridge and we told them our situation and that we weren't going to cross it, they were like, "Really? We didn't think they were that big." And we we're like, "No, really, they're that big." So that was really hairy for us.
Yeah, when they saw them, he actually said, "I didn't realize you were going to bring a condominium down our road."
Yeah.
So they have no grasp or concept of how large these RVs can be.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we had kind of everything going against us that day. We had rain, we had muddy roads. It was getting late in the day. We were literally 600 yards
Yeah.
from their driveway, and bam, all stopped. After much back and forth and surveying the bridge, we figured our best course of action was to gun it and just fly over the bridge. Okay?
That's not what
That was actually an option from a local that drove
Yeah.
by and just said, "Hey, just gun it, you'll be fine." We didn't take that chance. So what we did, Al was behind me. Al backed up first. We were going to try to back him up into a field first, and that didn't work.
No.
So then we just decided to go a little bit further back down the road, probably what, quarter of a mile?
Yeah, at the
half a
most.
mile,
Yeah,
I
about
guess?
about an eighth, quarter of a mile. Backed up and just one of the problems that we did run into is we separated from our teammates.
Yeah.
Our spouses, which is not a good idea in my opinion. It was okay. It ended up being fine. It wasn't that hairy of a situation. It was pretty straight backup, but still, never separate from your teammate. You know, that was one of the lessons that I learned. For
Yeah,
sure.
you take for granted that your significant other is always there when you're doing these things, so it's just natural that you do them together.
Yeah.
We didn't have that just because everything that was going on.
It's kind of chaotic.
It was, and by the time we got finished, we were like, okay, we don't want to do that again. We got out of it unscathed. We didn't put anything in the ditch. We didn't get stuck.
And we didn't do anything stupid. We didn't
No.
rush. The situation didn't transpire exactly how we would have wanted it to, but
Right.
we did take our time. That was one thing we did do. It was like, no, we're not going to make some mistakes, that others have made. So we did do that.
And then once we did back up and we got turned around driving forward, we actually ended up going around a different route to our destination, which we should have done in the first place. All right, so you're probably asking yourself, how did we get put in this position? To back up, we have an RV Garmin 770 specific for our RV. We have our lengths, our weights, height, all of that. We have our parameters put in there, so we've never had a problem with our GPS taking us someplace that we were not supposed to go based on our weight. The problem that happened there was when we were driving, the way his property line is set up, he sits on 80 acres. And when we turned onto that road leading to his driveway, our GPS stopped and said we had arrived. So the bridge was further down the road. So had the GPS taken us to his driveway, it would have or should have stopped us or told us that there was a bridge that we couldn't go down. So that was the first time that we had experienced any issues with our navigation in our RV Garmin 770.
So we were following Phil and Stacy, and we have our own GPS systems, and we usually use Google Maps, Apple Maps, just like everyone else does in conjunction with one another, and Google Earth, and we check our routes. Well, I recently started using Copilot to see, so we could put in our rig dimensions and weight and all those things to see how it worked. And actually, had I looked at it a little bit closer in retrospect, Copilot worked. It actually showed the bridge, and it kept trying to reroute us around the bridge, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I thought, well, we're following Phil and Stacy. Phil had spoken to the friends, and they had given him some directions, like local directions. So I thought, well, he knows what he's doing, so we're going to follow them. That was another thing in hindsight. We should have gotten together and said, hey, there's a red flag here, and Copilot picked it up.
Yeah.
So,
We were using the tools that we had and we have been using and that we were comfortable using. Just that day, it's like both worlds collided, and
Yeah.
it was the perfect storm.
Yeah.
And it put us, 20 yards from a bridge that was definitely too late. All right, so some of the pros with our our Garmin 770 is it is GPS, so you don't have to use your phone and worry about somebody calling you in the middle of using your map or navigating. You also can update the maps periodically to make sure you have the current routing input into your GPS. The cons to it are you have to constantly update it, which I haven't done yet, but I will be doing it this week. And another con is the price, the upfront cost. It's a little pricey in the beginning, but over time, it should pay for itself.
So with Copilot, the pros are that it actually did work. It worked as it was supposed to. I think I had a phone issue where it froze a couple of times, but I can't blame that on Copilot without really knowing much more about it. And I've only used it a handful of times. It's $30 a year, which isn't bad. You download the maps onto your phone, so you don't constantly have to, keep going to the satellite or the internet and download the maps as you're driving. So you have a constant map on your phone. And the cons, we really haven't run into anything yet. But we've only been using it a short time. We really like it so far.
All right, so a few lessons learned that we picked out of this whole ordeal is never trust anybody and their guidance if they don't have an RV, if they have an RV, or they just don't understand your current situation. That was probably number one. Two, don't do it without your co-pilot, and that's your significant other. We realized real quick that it's one team, one fight. And another thing is we need to do better at asking the questions if we're going to visit somebody that doesn't know what we're driving or doesn't RV. So we found that we need to ask particular questions. I mean, they said that our RVs would fit in their driveway. Okay, common, yeah, you can fit. But we didn't ask, are there weight restrictions, height restrictions, and even going down their driveway to their place,
are there branches
was full of
overhanging?
low-hanging trees, and they just, nothing against them. They were gracious hosts, hadn't seen them in a while. It was great to see them. We have some scratches that we're going to try to buff out. But those were huge, and we've been doing this for a while, and we still have a lot to learn about going outside of our norm when we're staying somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I did learn that we can back up like pros.
That's right.
Things, so that was great.
Yeah, and the other thing we found out is our rigs, both are different, both different lengths, performed, like a champ. We hadn't done that before. We put them to the test, and they didn't let us down. We actually kind of let them down. I let Al down because he was following me.
I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned about it was collaborating. When you're traveling together, everybody get your heads together, everybody agree on a route, use all the tools at our disposal, because we all have different experiences and we use different tools and different softwares, and it's just a good idea to get on the same page before you go. That was a big lesson for me.
Yes. All right, so we hope that our blunder is your education on how not to get stuck at a weight-bearing bridge in the mud, and that there's something useful that you could take out of this in your navigation and when you're planning your RV trips. So again, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the road.